Good evening.
We're recording.
Oh, great. Thank you, Elizabeth. All right. Good evening, everybody. I got a little bit of glare on my porch thing. I don't think I can do anything about that, so we'll just have to deal with it. So welcome to class, everybody. I'm glad you could attend again. Let me make a couple of announcements real quick. So first of all, I want to welcome everybody. We have a visitor from Florida, my students from Jefferson Day School who've been in progress here. I didn't get to look at all of the people. So the 5 of the black belts are working on 20 to 30-minute classes that I'm going to post. So I'm going to post those on the Karate Do page. I'll explain that in a second. Then I'll put the link. You'll have access from the group page, but they'll also be permanently posted on the Karate Do site. So when you go to the group page, there's an announcement tag, and if you click on that, you'll get the links that I was talking about. It's also on the timeline, but it's permanently on the announcement so that everybody can find them. There's 4 or 5 different links. One of them says Greensboro Karate Institute Karate Do. That's where I'm going to post the instructors' videos as they come out with the link to from the group page. So, all right. So tonight we're going to work on several different things. We've been working on power generation, sort of theory. I'm going to work that into some of the self-defense techniques that we're going to be working on. And we're going to work a little bit on the sets on Poen, and then work some more on self-defense techniques. So starting with, well, let's salute in. Everybody come to attention. Respect. Good job. Welcome to class. So we're going to continue to have these Zoom classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6 o'clock to 7. So tonight we're going to be working on some theory a little bit on power generation, and before we work on the sets on Poen. So there's several different ways that you can generate power. One of them is from forward movement or lateral movement, like if you're in a horse stance. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So if we're here, let's say on a reverse punch, and I'm moving forward and throwing a punch that way, I'm using the momentum of going forward to add to the power of the punch. That's pretty easily to see, moving forward. In some of the katas, there's a kip movement where you're kipping your leg up and then punching forward like that. Same thing, it's generating that force going forward. In some of our self-defense techniques, we might do a strike and then move laterally forward. So we're moving forward again and using the power of moving forward to add to the force of the technique. All right. So let's take a couple of those. The first one here, you're in a reverse punch, so my right foot's forward, and you're going to shuffle your right foot forward and punch at the same time. Either pulling your back foot with you or extending your stance. Okay. So Kelly's going to come out here and practice with you on that move. All right, so everybody work on that a few times. Some of our new students have come in. I see that Hayden should be here.
Excuse me, when you Wait, so when you're doing the move, does it like
I think the onions are done. You done with these?
right?
There's no more onions, just peppers.
Is it right hand forward, then stutter step and punch with your left hand?
Either way. If you're in a left stand, you have your right hand up.
You go wash your hands.
Right stand, you have your left hand.
Stuff all over.
I know.
And then your lead hand.
Probably talking to you. We can't hear him, Peyton. Come on. It's not a whole hour-long class. It's like 30 minutes.
iPhone needs hold on. The first one was the kick forward. So again, I'm going to be here. I'm in a right front stance. I have my left hand up, but it doesn't matter. You can do it the other way. Okay, I'm just doing it this way. Then you're going to kick forward, so you're going to lift your front foot up towards your back leg, and then move forward with a dynamic step forward. So I'm not taking a full step. I'm just shuffling. I'm moving my right foot forward and punching. Okay, everybody practice that a few times. Okay, good. All right, so the other technique that I did was a lateral movement. So I'm starting in the horse stance. We might have done an outside forearm block and then a punch. And then I'm moving the whole horse stance forward laterally. Laterally means sideways to the kids. So we don't even need to practice the block. We can just practice the movement. So from here, sort of shuffling your horse stance forward and using that movement to make the elbow stronger. All right, so we're here. Good. All right, Kelly's going to practice with you a little bit. Everybody work on that. So I don't have a video on Avion or Joseph, but I know you're practicing. Yeah, there we go. Let's see, Madeline's here, Mr. Perkins is here, Miss Streck is here, Mr. Phelps, Sebastian McConnell, Avion, one of the white belts, Angie Moore, Madeline and Matilda, Mr. Kaplan, the Walker family, Evan and Ethan, Don and Samhita, Mr. Frederick from Cleveland, Ishwa, Raina, and Sanjay. And I'm hoping I didn't miss anybody. Oh, and Zubin Grog from Florida. Okay. Now the next kind of power generation is from cranking, and we were doing this a little bit in the previous classes when we were doing this piece from Solid Stance 1. So we were twisting or cranking our hips and driving the punch. In our self-defense techniques, we do this in combination. So from the middle block self-defense technique, we do a quick punch, which turns our hip, and then we come in with an elbow. So this is different than the elbow we just did. The elbow that we just did was a lateral movement this way. So our power generation comes from moving forward. Okay, we're here, moving forward. In this self-defense technique, we're cranking, which turns our body, and then we turn our body back into the elbow. So these are also part of how we do something. So again, we're going to get extra power out of this movement from cranking into it. So you can see that yourself by standing still and throwing the elbow this way. All right, and then do it from this position, punching. Let your body burn. Then turn in your back. Right away, you can feel the difference on how much force you're generating that way. Okay, so let's all do it from there. From the middle block, you're going to punch, then crank into that elbow. Kelly's going to practice with you a little bit. Let's do some on count. So everybody get into that position. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. GKI in the last move. Ha! Ha! Good work. Okay. All right, the next principle is overlapping circles. So knife hand strike palm down and round kicks are both examples of this. So in knife hand strike palm down, everybody bring your hand up to here. If we do the strike from here, obviously if something's in front of you, you're going to hit it. Okay? But if we turn our forearm and then bring our arm down, this is one circle, and we're adding the strike or a forearm twist as the second circle. So the idea of this, again, here, without moving your arm, you're going to hit. What we want to do is create more force. So we're turning our forearm. As we bring our elbow down, that's the first circle. And then we're adding that second circle of your forearm. So everybody practice that move. That's why we turn our hand palm facing our ear when we're white belts and we're learning how to do the technique. Notice I'm turning my hips too, which would add that crank to the movement as well. So we would be generating force from the crank and the two circles. And that's the case in the katas and in our self-defense techniques. It's not usually one source of power. We're actually doing several different movements at the same time. All right, so Kelly's going to come up and practice that knife hand strike palm down with you. Same thing, let's get a few of them on count. So let's start in a front stance. Bring your hand up to your ear. Ready, strike. Make sure that you're rotating your forearm as you're striking. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Good work. All right, that's right. Switch stances. Let's do it on the other side. Ready? 1, 2, 3,
Bill, it's frozen.
4. I didn't hear you, Madeline, or it was Matilda. Okay? All right, let's keep going. 5.
Bill, you totally frozen.
I'm sorry, Matilda. I didn't hear you. I'm frozen.
You're frozen.
Can you see me now?
Bill,
Still?
Oh, it's good.
Okay. Yes.
Like your voice is late.
well, it's kind of like buffering and it's kind of buffering.
Okay, well, we're not going to worry about that. Just do the best that you can. Thank you. All right. Another way that we do these 2 circles is a round kick. So on a round kick, your knee comes around like that. Your knee comes around. And then at the end of the kick, your leg snaps out. So this is 2 circles. Your knee coming around, and then the smaller circle on the end. So coming around, and then snapping on the end. So it's 2 circles on top of each other. One around, and then snap it. So like the knife hand strike palm down, if you threw the round kick from here, you would still have a round kick. If something was in front of you, you'd hit it, but you'd have more force throwing those 2 circles behind each other. So bringing that knee around and then snapping there. That's why when you do a round kick, you lift your knee up on the side because you're going to bring it around to the front. All right, let's everybody try that. So get into a left front stance. Face them. We're going to do some round kicks on count. Try to lift your knee up to the side when you do the initial lift. 1. Good job, Kelly. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. One more. Switch feet. Ready? 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. Good work. Kelly, I need you. Okay, this final power generation move is opposing circles. And I'm going to show this from a self-defense technique. So I'm blocking with an outside forearm block. and a lot of the students do a piece from Sayuchin. So like a vertical punch or a four-knuckle punch to the throat, or a vertical back fist and a four-knuckle punch, and then they follow up with a groin strike. And on that groin strike, if I move in this way, when I do the groin strike, my hips are turning this way, away from this strike. So again, I'm here and I did the strike and I'm semi-facing my opponent, and then I'm going to turn my body and strike. So you see my hips are going this way, but the strike is going this way. So these are opposing circles. It's known as a power circle. Here, strike, and a big circle into here. All right, practice it this way. I want everybody to turn sideways, and we'll just do this combination. So you're going to do punch, vertical back fist, and then the opposing circle strike. So again, when we do the punch, that was my mistake. Vertical back fist, and then twist into that strike. Let's try that again. Punch, vertical back fist, twist. Good. All right, everybody set up for that? Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 'So when you do the circle strike to the groin strike, that arm should go to your far shoulder. So I'm seeing some of you do the strike with your right, so the arc should go all the way to your left shoulder. Sanjay, all the way to your left shoulder as you do it. Circle in front of your face, that's right. That's correct. All right, let me show everybody that again. Watch me do this one time. So you punch, strike, and then this arc comes all the way to your far shoulder. You don't want to cut that short like this. You want to bring it around in front of you. And if you practice Sayuchin Kata, you're doing that in Sayuchin. That's the move that everybody has a hard time with. All right, so set back up, semi-facing, four-knuckle punch to the throat, vertical back fist, counter turn your hips and strike to the groin. All right, let's try 10 of those. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Good job, everybody. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Huh. All right, switch stances. Try it on the other side. Semi-facing. 1, 2. Notice Kelly's moving forward as she's doing that strike. So again, she's combining these opposite circles with a lateral movement forward. So her force is coming from two things. One, laterally moving forward, and the other, the opposite circles. Like I said, very rarely do we use just one of these principles. All right, I think I was on 1. Ready? 1, 2, Now, very good. I'm not sure the study was this, but I'm sure that whoever maybe you can maybe on her son's account. All right. So before we move on, I want to emphasize. Just give me a chat. Hold on a second. We haven't named the kata because we're just doing movements from the kata. Okay. All right, so these 4 principles, we're going to move on and do a piece from Puan, but these 4 principles are really important. This is power generation that is over and over again shown in the katas. Even in attack form 1 and Chun-Ji, stepping forward and punching is using that movement forward to generate force. So the 4 generations of force is either moving forward, straight ahead, or laterally, cranking our technique, like when we turned our body opposite and then turned back in for the strike, cranking the technique for power. 2 circles on top of each other, like knife hand strike, palm down. 1 circle is the arm movement, the other circle is your forearm rotating. And then opposing circles like the groin strike in Sayuchin, where your hips are turning one way and your strike is going the other way. So again, let me say that if you hit somebody with a technique, whether or not you do any of those motions, you're still going to hit them. The idea of our karate practice is to try to figure out how to do the strongest version of the technique. That's the whole idea, is to develop the strongest version of every technique. That's why we practice kata. So part of the challenge for all the students, especially when we are not able to get to class together, is to self-explore this as you're doing your katas. So even if you're just doing Chun-Ji, you're practicing that movement, moving forward to generate more force. Okay? If you're working on the other katas like Wan-Su, we worked on that crank movement in Wan-Su to generate more force. And the more advanced students that are practicing many different katas, you want to explore how are you generating force? Why was the kata designed the way that it is? Why are you doing movements the way that you are? One of the reasons is for you to discover how to generate more force than standing still doing the same technique. So that's a big project and something that everybody should be continuously working on as you do your 1,000 katas, to investigate the katas and what you're doing in them. All right, now let's work on Puan for a little bit. So rather than do the whole kata, we want to work a little bit on the sets part of it. I'm going to start after I've done the chop. So this movement is slow. You bring it around. And then the series after this is very quick. Okay, that's what we want to work on. So bringing this move around, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that. Okay, so again. Once more. Good. Kelly asked me before class, watching me do this, she said you're moving your hips back. So this move is like a bear hug break. So I'm kicking my hips back and then driving that double block. That's the way it's done. If we went around the different Taekwondo schools, we would end up hearing all kinds of different bunkai on exactly, or application, why we're doing that move that way. I see that as a bear hug break. But regardless, that's the move in the form. So we're here. I'm sorry. Let's do it again slow. We have some beginners in class. The beginners try to follow along with me as I'm doing this. Okay. Good. All right. I realize there's some brand new beginners in class. White belts are in class. This isn't a test. It doesn't matter if you get it right. What I want you to do is to try to do your very, very best. I don't know if I mentioned that Allie, one of our black belts, is in class, or I guess she's still in Chapel Hill. She's about to graduate. So we're glad that she was able to make it. All right. Everybody get in position. I'm going to count a few off. There we go. Now I can see Avion. Okay, ready? 1. Good. Don't forget to focus on every move, but don't stop. These are sets. Okay, again, 2. Again, 3. 4. 5. 'm trying to watch the screen, make sure that I'm giving everybody enough time to get all the way through it. I think that's happening. I'm trying not to rush to count too much. Okay, let's try a few more times. Ready? 1. 2. 'Good job, Matilda. 3. 'Great job, Madeline. 4. 'Yes. Good job, Peyton. Good job, Avion. Good job, Joseph. I'm watching. You guys are doing great. 6. 7. 8. 9. And one more. Yell on the last move. Ha! All right. Everybody else in- just when you think you have to, we're going to switch sides. So Kelly's going to put the forearm up now. And that's Okay, so you bring your arm in slow, cross punch. These are called universal blocks, 2 universal blocks, and then a double middle block. Punch towards where you had the knife. And then cross. Okay. You keep trying to do that on your own. Just follow Kelly the best as you can without me counting. Because it is a little different switch on. Madon, get busy. This is great, having these little cameras. I get to watch you. Make sure you're not falling asleep on me. All right, let's do a few on count. Ready? 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. Good work. One more. Ha! Okay. From this position, the next 2 moves are in our lateral force generating theory. So we're coming here, and we're doing a bottom fist, and then we're stepping out and doing a block. So again, we were here. So all of our force is from moving that way, okay? On this first one, we come around, bottom fist, so that move is coming straight in this way. Then we step out into this U-block. Okay, whatever that application is, we're not going to worry about. We're worrying about how we're generating force. So we're going from here to this first move, coming in this way, and then stepping out into the U-block. So again, from here, 1, 2. Okay, Kelly's going to practice that with you.
I don't know it. I can't get the
So Kelly's working on it too.
film start here. Here.
Yeah.
And come around here.
Go back up. Go that way some. No, you're coming this way. Okay. So we're here. stepping across, coming this way, then stepping into the U-block. So all of our force is going this way. So we're here, we step, strike, step, block. All right. Everybody, let's follow Kelly on the step. 1, 2. And Evan and Ethan, don't worry about being exactly correct. That's get your face out of the game. Strike, U-block. Now, Ethan and Evan, you may not have been in class where we went over that. Just try to do the best you can. We're going to piece it all together. Again, 1, 2. Good job. The beginners are doing really good. Joseph, Peyton, and Avion are in the line here at the bottom of my screen, and they're doing a really good job. All right, again, ready? 3. 4. 5. 1 more. Ha! All right. The other set we do these sets both directions, but we don't have time to go over them. I don't want to run out of time, and I don't want to hold this class longer. We want to end this class for Matilda and her mom's benefit right on time. Zubin, your camera's not on, so I can't see you, but I know you're still there. Okay, so this next set is after this. So we come up. Now we're going to block. And this time we're doing a crank strike. So you step in front and bring this hand back towards the line. And then we're circling into a strike. So according to our power generation theory that we were working on before, we're doing 2 of these. So 1 is the linear movement forward. Then the way we're stepping facilitates our cranking our hip back into that strike. And then we're doing a circle to generate more force. So it's actually 3 of the theories that we were working on. So from here, linear, then step and pull this hand back to the line, and then circle and strike. And that circle and strike includes moving forward and the circle. So again, we were here. So it's 1, crank that shot back in, and then circle. All right, let's try just a couple of those, and then we're going to move on. That's it. All right, let's all try it together. Let me get out of the camera's view. 1. Good. Start more this way because you went right off the screen. 2. 3. 4. Yell on this one. Ha! So we're going to work on some self-defense combinations like we did the other day. The other day when we were doing our techniques, I'm going to turn Kelly. We were on the inside of her punch. Our eyes, throat, solar plexus, groin. Eyes, throat, solar plexus, groin. Best demonstration I've ever seen. I forgot about this the other day. So we're talking about self-defense combinations. I was at an Ed Parker demonstration in Shelby, North Carolina, and he was doing a combination A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D. No matter what the techniques are, 1, 2, 3, 4. And he said, what happens if, or somebody asked him in the question, what happens if somebody blocks A? And he said, DBCA. So I'll do that once more for you.
I was a bit impressed.
He said, what happens if somebody blocks A? So his response was DBCA. He just mixed up the combination. I'll do that again. DBCA.
You see, I got this ready.
So that's something to keep in mind. That little alphabetic self-defense combination, mixing things up. Keep that in mind. I never forgot that once I saw that demonstration. Mixing up your self-defense combinations, making an entirely different combination by changing the order a little bit. All right, now back to tonight. So we're going to avoid this punch on the outside of her body. If we're on the outside of her body, we do not have her vital areas readily available. This is more turtle shell. In order to hurt somebody on the outside, you have to hit them with more force. Okay? So using our theories of power, we're going to try to generate some movements that way. So we'll start with a lateral move elbow. So I block here. I'm going to hit with my lead hand, and then I'm going to step in and do this elbow this way. So I'll block, punch, step in. So there's not any crank in that movement. My force from the elbow is coming from me moving forward. So I'm punching, closing the gap, and moving forward with that elbow. All right, so we're here, punch, elbow. All right, so Kelly's going to practice that with you. Everybody get into position on that. So we can do it facing, the camera or facing sideways. I think it'll be more practical facing sideways like this, so you'll be able to see Kelly. So she's going to punch and then move forward like that. All right, let's try it together. Ready? 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. A lot of other people sitting still. Let's go. 8. 9. 10. One, 3, 4, 5. One Madeline. There you go. 7, 8, 9. One more. Ah!
Bill,
He'll say something.
Bill, your screen is frozen.
Oh, and sometimes when you talk, we can't make out what.
We were just moving forward on the crank version of this technique. I'm going to block, and then as I punch, I'm going to let my hips turn. So that when I square my hips back up and hit with the elbow, that elbow's coming in this way.
Your screen's frozen.
Just stop, Ethan.
The block and when you elbow. So we're punching first, but when we punch, we want to allow ourselves to turn our hips so that we can use that hip turn coming back into the elbow. And this is a move that's in the katas as well, that kind of turn, and it comes from the way that you're stepping. So as you're practicing your katas, look for these. They're not just something we do in self-defense, they're built into the katas. So we block here, and we punch, counter turn your body, and then turn your body back into the elbow. So block, punch, back into the elbow. All right, Kelly's going to practice that with you. Okay, let's move on. So the next principle of power is combining circles on technique. So we can do this with knife hand strike palm down, which we practiced before, and with the vertical back fist, which involves that twisting of your forearm as well, and with round kicks. So from this self-defense position, I'm on the outside again. So one way that I can do that is I can, again, punch with this hand and then come down with the vertical back fist this way. And that's that 2 circles on the vertical back fist. My elbow's going this way, and then my forearm is twisting this way. So again, I'm blocking, punching, striking. You could also punch with the other hand. So I could block, punch with the hand that I blocked with, and then vertical back fist with the other hand. just a different version of the same technique. So I block, punch with the lead hand, vertical back fist. Right. Kelly, practice those two. She's hitting with her other hand first, and then coming down with the vertical back fist. We could easily change knife down the same move. All right, now we're going to switch hands to start off with. So now she's hitting with her lead hand and then vertical back fisting with her other hand. Okay, and the final one, we went over, and it's really hard to do from that outside position, so I'm going to do it from the inside. So I'm going to do it from this outside forearm block. This is the combination that we worked on a few minutes ago. So we're here, 1, 2, 3. That's the counter circle power. So I'm blocking, striking to the throat, vertical back fist, and then I'm turning away from the strike, like you do in the Sayuchin. And again, if I hit Kelly without turning my body, I would still be hitting Kelly. But when I turn my body the other way, I get more force. So I'm using the body mechanics to get more force. We learned that from practicing our katas. All right, Kelly's going to take you through that one a couple times. Very good. Okay. So let's review a little bit of what we did tonight. So first we worked on the 4 principles of power generation: moving forward in a direct forward line or lateral moving to get more force on the technique. And then cranking the techniques like we did in solid stance 1 and like the second and third set in Wansu, where you counter turn your hip and then you turn back in for power. And then we applied 2 circles on top of each other, like knife hand strike, palm down, which the initial circle, and then turning your forearm. And then opposing circles, like in Sayuchin. When you step away, you're turning your hip away from the target and striking to the target. So it's like a scissors. Your body turns one way, your arms come in the other way. Then we took a couple sets from Puan and broke them up and practiced the sets for focus and smoothness going through it. And I pointed out different ways that we're generating force there. So that's one way to get excellent katas, is to break the katas up into small pieces and then practice the sets or the small pieces and then put them all together back into the form. Okay? and then we work on some techniques from our back stances. Next class, we're going to follow up on that a little bit more. All right, couple things before we go. Again, Hamilton saying to everybody, excellent class. He was like, he said go. Okay, so we move the girls through. There's a tag on the top that says announcements. If you click on that announcements, the top announcement is going to give you the links to our different pages. So we have 5 different pages. Okay? And so I want everybody to become familiar with this resource because there's hundreds of katas on one of these pages. There's kata on the YouTube page, and we've got 20 to 30 minute classes, and I'm going to post them. I'm going to post them on the Greensboro Karate Institute Karate Do page. So I'll have a direct link from the group page. But for everybody that's paying attention to this, if you go to the group page, go to announcements, and then you'll have those 5 different links so you can go to the different pages. So like I said, one of the things that's happening is 5 of the instructors are working on 20 to 30 minute lessons that we'll be posting on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And we'll continue to have this Zoom class on Tuesday and Thursday at 6 o'clock. And I'll keep sending out those messages to everybody about the link to get to the page. All right, everybody did really good. It's a little bit after 7. And I kept Matilda's mom the other night, so we need to end this class. So everybody come to attention. Why do we follow the rules?
It's right.
Thing to do.
Right thing to do.
Thank you. Very good class, everybody. I hope you learned something. And look, I'm looking forward to the next class.
Hi.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, because
Bye.
like I always think. Like there.
Great class, Bill. Thank you.
Good class, sir.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good.
Bye.
Thanks.
Enjoyed it, boss.
Bye.
Thank
Class,
you.
Bill.
Nice to see you, Allie.
Bye.
Bye, Madeline. Bye, Matilda. Thank your mom again.
Thank you, Bill. Woo. Silly. Oh my goodness. Okay, here we go.
All right. Good night, everyone.